All right, everybody, we are back. Just finished up some lunch, and the next speaker is Nancy Paiva, and she is the Director of Custom Programs and Sales at Idtech. And for any of you who know, Idtech, and I'm sure she'll tell you more about how long they've been around, but they've, definitely one of the biggest STEM education programs in the United States. And I learned about them a few years ago whenever we lived in Silicon Valley, and I was doing some graduate work at Stanford, and my son was running track on a track team at Stanford, and we were at the Stanford campus all the time. And we just started trying to figure out, how to get him into some kind of summer tech program where he would, just basically do some intense boot camp. And we started looking around, and we discovered Idtech and realized that they have partnerships with something like 150 colleges and universities around the U.S., including some really, just well-known elite schools, including Stanford. And I mean, you kind of ship your kid off, I think, for like a whole week or something in the summertime, and they get to go live on campus and kind of experience these beautiful campuses and just do all kinds of stuff. And so a lot of things have changed, and I think she may talk a little bit about that today. A lot of things have changed with Idtech as a result of COVID. And so a lot of their format has moved to more of a virtual format, but it's just an amazing STEM program. And for anyone, I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows STEM is, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And STEAM is the A kind of adds the art in there because there's some of the graphics and sort of art side. And so if you are a middle schooler or a high schooler, or if you're a college student or a parent and have kids in that age range, I think that she's got some really interesting stuff to tell you. Idtech also was a major sponsor of the conference and donated 5 full scholarships that are going to be awarded to participants in the hackathon. And we also have another large number of private online one-on-one lessons. I believe they are one-on-one with Idtech. So we have a really big prize package from Idtech, and we really appreciate you, Nancy.
Oh, thank you so much, Leroy, for the introduction. Thank you for inviting me to be here today to speak to all of you. Leroy and his team has certainly put together a pretty impressive 3-day event. I hope that everyone is enjoying the event so far. I'm going to put on the presentation and just what we do and what changes have happened with COVID. I know that most, if not everyone, have been affected by it, and talk a little bit why is it important for the young students to start getting involved in computer science. So let me just stop here and put on a presentation. There we go. All right, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, so at Leroy, as Leroy said, my name is Nancy Paiva, and I've been working at Idtech for quite a while now. It's been 17 years. I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen the growth in Idtech camps. We, so just in general, what we do is we actually teach students computer skills, ages 7 to 19. That's the age group that we focus on, and we teach technology. And we have courses, for example, in game design, virtual reality, machine learning, app development, 3D printing, robotics, cybersecurity, Python, Java, all the latest and greatest technology. And we focus on just teaching children. Like I said, ages 7 to 19. And I will share a little bit more about Idtech, but I also wanted to start with why learning computer skills at an early age is critically important. So let's take a look at some stats. For example, so there's a stat that says 92% of boys and 97% of girls lose interest in STEM if not engaged by the 5th grade. So meaning students who are, so ideally we're getting students involved before they're age 10 into computer science, because it shows that they will most likely pursue a career if they are engaged at an early age. Why pursue a career in computer science? I believe most of you are here because you are interested in STEM and you want to learn about STEM. And so as most of you probably know, it is a field in which you are able to make 26% more money than the average job and less likely to lose it because there's such a high demand for these jobs. For example, there's a stat out there as of 2021, so as this year, it is estimated that 3.5 million STEM jobs will need to be filled by by 2025. So there's a huge demand in the industry. The big giants companies out there are really struggling to find the skilled workforce that they need in order to move forward into. So again, most of you are probably here or know that these jobs are, there's so many different jobs in the STEM industry, software development to game designers, cybersecurity, the blockchain developer, that's up and coming field that is in a high demand right now. I believe Leroy addressed that when he first, in his opening address to us this morning. So the Department of Labor and U.S. World News Report, and of course the biggest giant tech companies out there are saying and painting the picture that it is going to be a tremendous growth. Not even the pandemic could slow it down. For example, Amazon, actually Amazon lost the beginning of last year. So in the midst of the pandemic, announced that they were going to be investing in corporate and tech jobs, looking to hire 33,000 new employees. And that was just for last year. And they were saying the compensation on average for these jobs that they were hiring for was $150,000. And they continue to do so into 2021. Sheryl Sandberg also last year announced that they were looking to hire 10,000 people by the end of last year in the midst of the pandemic. And the majority of those hires were also highly compensated jobs in the STEM industry. But what if you're not interested in you're a young student, but you're not interested in pursuing a career in computer science? Why should you be learning computer skills? And the reason is because STEM education helps students develop many skills that are transferable to almost any career path and most of the aspects of life. For example, employers are not looking for employees to just regurgitate what they just learned. They're looking for problem solvers. They're looking for people who can be part of a team, that are curious, that are innovative and have critical thinking. So these are all skills that students learn when they're actually learning computer science. So many of today's marketing, finance, design, and even customer service roles require some degree of tech know-how, and many jobs that have yet to be created in the future. So what is the best way to engage students to learn tech skills at an early age? And it's been shown that project-oriented learning is the best way to really engage students to learn these skills. So now I'm going to jump back in and talk a little bit more about Idtech and how we teach and what we do and how we engage students into learning technology. So a little bit more about Idtech and when we started. As Leroy said, we've been around for quite some time. It is a mother and daughter company. It was founded in 1999. Actually, Alexa Ingham Cauchi, it was her thesis at university, and her professor said that she would be crazy if she didn't start, and if she didn't actually pursue and build this business. So she did, and her mother was there to help her out, and then her brother joined the team a year later. So it is a family-based company. They started with those big, I'm sure you remember those big, huge box screens and huge computers. And of course, now we've got these very sleek gaming laptops that we use for our program. But we started back then with only 280 students. We only had a couple locations. Stanford was one of them, one of our first locations. And basically what we did was back then was to host our programs at universities and teach students during the summertime. So the universities were available because the university students would leave for the holidays, and we would actually then host our programs there. So we started back with 280 80 students, just a few locations. And today, well, up until March of 2019, we were at over 250 locations, not only in the US, we also had expanded several years back into internationally. So we were in UK, Europe, for example, and Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, and we hosted our programs there as well. But of course, the majority of our locations are here in the United States. Like Leroy said, you can find us at Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, all the UCs, of course, and all the way through and across to the East Coast, to MIT, Harvard, and Princeton, and during the summertime. So that is where we host our programs, and we teach students computer science. And another thing to note is, because we've been in the industry for so long, for over 21 years, we do have a lot of alumni. We have over 500,000 alumni that have gone to our program and have moved on. Like I said, we're across the country, and we actually serve students from 135 different countries that actually would come in person, or right now that are learning with us virtually. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit and spend some time just sharing with you what happened in March of 2020. As most of us know, and a lot of companies really had to reevaluate how they were doing business. It was in March in which we came to the realization that we are no longer going to be able to host our programs at universities that summer. We were ready to go. Many of our clients already had registered for the summer in-person programs. Our warehouse was full with all the supplies needed to run the programs. We had hired 80% of our staff to teach at our camps. We were ready to go. And in March, it started in February. Some of the universities started to call us and say, yeah, we're not going to actually open our campus this summer. We're going to stay closed. And then in March, it was just complete shutdown. So as a company, our CEO, who is Pete Ingram-Cauchi, and the board of directors had to make a decision. They literally asked the question, are we going to close our doors, or are we going to stay open? And the decision is, let's stay open. And really difficult time for our CEO, for the team. We had to let go of half our team in order to survive, and those who stayed gave up some of their salary as well. And we just rolled up our sleeves and decided, okay, let's move our program virtually. But we were really concerned. Even though we're not new to the virtual world, we've been doing private online lessons for many years. Our staff that teach at our summer programs, we hire, and they teach our students year-round with the private tutoring that we offer. But to be candid with everyone, we weren't we've never done it virtually, the group lesson setting and teaching in groups. So, but it was really critical for ID not to lose the quality of our program that we had at, in-person programs at the universities. And that was very important to us. So we made a few tweaks, a few changes to the program at our campus. What we did is we had one instructor for every 10 students. So it was a small ratio to ensure that students really gained the most out of their experience while with us in person. So for the virtual program, we actually cut that back in half. So on average, we have about 5 students for an instructor. And the other critical aspect was we did not want the students to be lectured at. We want it to be a very safe, engaging environment in which students still collaborated and learned from each other, which is part of our program in person. So we wanted to make sure that we actually brought that to the virtual world as well. And that was very critical as well for when we transitioned to a virtual world. So we changed the ratios. We retrained our staff. Teaching virtually is very different than teaching in person. Really emphasizing that it is important that the students are engaged, interacting, and not being lectured at, to be part of a safe environment in learning and still making it fun. Our instructors still engage our students, and we still kind of try to do those camp kind of fun games for our students and ensure that they're engaged. But so March hit. We, as our CEO, sent out a letter to all our many clients that had registered and were expecting to be going into campus in person that summer, and just was very candid and reached out to our clients and said, we're here. We have a program for you. It's not going to be in person. It's going to be virtual. For those of you who can afford to stay, we'd love for you to try our virtual program. We completely understand if you can't and you're hitting, there's hard times and you need us to refund you, we will. And we as a company try to refund every single person who requested it, but we're very thankful that many of our clients stuck with us. And we were humbled. We were very humbled to see that we literally thought we were going to have to close our doors to serving over 60,000 students that summer, last summer, virtually. We really were humbled. The program was well received. At first, of course, there was a hesitation. Parents like, oh, my student's been online this whole year. I do not want them to be on the computer. But I think summer hit and parents are like, oh, my students, they need to be busy. We need to get them to do something. So students started to come and started to spread the word and invited their friends and signed up for 1 week and then added 3-4 weeks. So we're very thankful that our virtual program was very successful. So where are we at today? We actually don't know if we are going to be running in-person camps this year again. So we are in talks with many of the universities. We certainly will not be doing international, but our universities here locally in the US, we are working with them. But as a decision hasn't been made. Most, of course, the critical thought is, as a company, we have to make sure that our students are safe and that our staff are safe as well. And we will not run programs unless we can make sure that that is happening. So in-person is not yet decided, but we are 100% moving forward with our virtual program this summer. So that's a little bit about what we do, where we've been, and where we're at now. So everything we do right now is virtual. Here's just a synopsis of the different programs that we do offer. We have the one-on-one tutoring, which I mentioned before. And this is a program that happens year-round. Students will be able to have access to our instructors and learn the skills that they want to learn. It's a very customized program. Then we have the small group online lessons, and that's what I was talking about, the virtual camps, in which we are teaching students in a very small group environment. The different courses, we have different courses available for them there. In-person camps, that's on hold for now. And then we, of course, have our online campus as well. And we have the semester program, which students can learn. So if you're not really comfortable with the one-on-one, you have the option of doing a year-round program with your group of students. And on average, it's going to be 12 weeks at a time, which you get together and, of course, you work together for the 12 weeks. Everything we do at Idtech, it doesn't matter which program you are signed up, the goal is to have a project. So everything is project-based. So students will end up with a functional project at the end of the session with us, and they will get a certificate with the skills that they've learned. So especially for the teens, we saw a huge uptake, especially in our teens, because when March hit, a lot of the students that were getting ready to apply for university and college, they were building their portfolios. So the ability to volunteer and to do internships, in which students used to build their portfolios, was a challenge for them. So a lot of the students took our program and they were able to upload their project, upload the certificate to really showcase on their portfolios that they pursued computer science outside of their academic school. So that seems to be, has been very popular. A lot of our teens are doing that and building their portfolios and adding the projects to that. So that's the current programs that we have. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about our staff And how we teach, sorry, just 1 second here. It looks like I've got a little glitch here. Okay, it looks like it's working. All right. So all our staff are background checked. We trained all our staff in the virtual world. Of course, we had to pivot, and we made sure that we had in place a training program to ensure that our instructors were comfortable teaching virtually and to ensure that they were ready to teach our students. And we definitely ensure that there is a safe environment for the students to learn, of course. And of course, the mission of tech education is reinforced through we have a proprietary curriculum in which our instructors have access to. Our goal is always to teach the fundamental and to advance the programming and design and creative concepts. And of course, in a fun and engaging way. We believe that is the best way in which students learn, is if they're engaged. And then the goal is for them to desire to continue learning after they move on from our program. I want to focus on the summer program because this is the program that we are offering right now for any students who want to learn some computer skills. We do have a program that we're offering, and actually spring, we actually are running it right now, which is a spring camp, and it will be our summer program as well. We are so this program is basically, it's a minimum commitment of 1 week. Students will actually be able to sign up and choose whatever course they're interested. We have different courses for different age groups. So this kind of describes a little bit more about how it will be structured. So it will be students will actually commit for 2 hours with our live instructor. So everything we do is live. We don't be pre-recorded sessions. Everything will be done live. So the students actually will join their instructor for 2 hours a day for live learning, and then it will be followed by 2 hours of self-learning. Essentially what that part is students will assign the lesson. Students will have access to our curriculum, and they'll be assigned a lesson, which is step-by-step. And essentially, it's just for the students to review what they just learned with their instructor and to practice before they come back the next day. So the goal is at the end of the week, they will have a functional project. For those students who have experience, of course, their project's going to be more advanced. For those students who haven't done it before, that's okay, because we'll teach them from the start. But they'll still have a functional project at the end of the week. And like I said, we have courses in many different topics. Dates and times, like I said, we have the spring program that is working, that is actually it started this week. We have our first group attending camp this week, and we will start the summer program May 31st, and it will go until the end of August. And it's a very flexible program. Multiple weeks, of course, and as you can see, there's many times available for the students that they can fit into their schedule. So it's just a matter of committing to a minimum of 1 week, but of course, students can attend multiple weeks, take different courses, learn different skills each week. Here's just a title of some of the courses we have. We offer about 4 to 6 courses in each age group. As I said, we run camps for students ages 7 to our virtual camps are up to 17, but our private online lessons go up to 19. We teach students up to the age of 19. Through our social initiative, Idtech is very passionate in giving back to the community, and we want to make sure that we can reach as many students as possible and have them have access to learning computer skills. So through our social impact initiatives, we create life-changing, of course, tech experiences that embolden underrepresented students to shape the future. So we want to make sure that we're reaching every student that we can to be exposed to technology. We believe that children of every gender, ethnicity, background, ability, socioeconomic status deserve the chance to become the change makers of our future. And there's just a few stats about our social impact initiative as a company. We've, like I said, we really have gotten some really positive feedback on our virtual programs, and from parents and from students. They are enjoying. Many of the students walk away with learning a new skill and a sense of accomplishment, and that is our goal, for them to be engaged and passionate and hopefully pursue computer science in their future. Many of our students have gone on to work at companies as Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. For example, this is just Chris Moore, who started at Idtech camp and now is an engineer at Google. 97% of our students go on to a four-year degree college. 9 out of 10 actually pursue STEM in college. So that is, we're very excited about that number. A high percentage of our students do actually pursue computer science in post-secondary. And 90% say that Idtech impacted their long-term goals, that it really impacted their lives. It showcased and showed them that learning technology didn't have to be boring, that it is a fun and exciting career to pursue. So we're very, very happy to see those numbers. Like I said, we've been in the industry for a very long time. We've been able to follow a lot of our alumni. It is great when we actually get a student who then becomes the instructor, who then goes on to make a huge difference in the world. For example, this is just one of our success stories. We have many, many of them, but Rebecca Garcia, of course, started with us as a student. That sparked her interest in technology and came back while she was at university learning technology to be one of our mentors, our instructors, and has gone on to build and profitable career. She has her own company and has been very, very involved in engaging women into the STEM industry. So we're really excited about our alumni who are out there making a huge, huge difference. So I do have a couple of videos. Looks like we've got some time. I have a couple of videos, but for those of you who are still with us here today, I do want to encourage everyone who is thinking of exploring and seeing if their student and if they want to pursue and learn a little bit of computer science to try us out. And we are giving a code in which you can get a discount for $150 off. So use NAC21. The offer will expire at the end of this month, but check us out, see if there's anything that is interesting that you would like to learn. For those who are students and parents who are looking for something for their students to do this summer, we would love to see you at camp. So I'm just going to see if our video will play.
I'm not sure if your audio went out there. Are you still there, Nancy? I think we lost your audio. If you can hear me, you might want to drop and come back in. Yeah, no, Idtech is pretty amazing. So we planned on sending our son Tevin out there, and then COVID happened and just kind of put that off. But they've got all kinds of different programs, including game development and just web development and 3D modeling and all kinds of different stuff. So any of you that are in middle school or high school, or again, if you're a parent or big brother or sister, you might want to consider sending them out there and let them, and they're still kind of, I'm not sure, to what degree they're still doing on-campus stuff, but there she is. There you are.
Sorry about that, everyone. That video did not want to play. I think it was just, but thank you, Leroy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much longer you want. I'll drop off here. We're at about 30 minutes. So I'm not sure if you were done or.
No, I just wanted to finish off. I'm happy to take any questions. Is there a chat in which they can ask questions? Leroy?
Yeah, over on your right-hand side, it may be collapsed for you right now, but there should be a little arrow up at the top and you can pull it over. And I'm not sure. We get some comments here, but I'm not sure if there's any questions. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in there. And so I'll ask you a couple questions while we're waiting on some others. Yeah. So is Idtech sort of starting to incorporate the on-campus stuff again, or is that permanently being phased out, or kind of where is that going?
No, we are so passionate to be back out there and doing in person with our kids. We just right now the colleges are still very hesitant in committing to allowing us to be on campus. So 2021, if we do, it will be very limited, and it will be there will be a lot of restrictions still. I know that vaccines are here and that everyone's looking forward to getting back to normal, but I don't think this summer we'll still be at that point. We definitely are prepared for 2022. We'll be announcing that in September of this year for 2022 in person. So stay tuned for in person. We might do a few locations still this year, but most likely not.
Yeah. And so these programs you have, and I remember looking back at the initial catalog, and it was everything from game development to 3D modeling to all kinds of stuff. So the virtual boot camps you're running now still have that full range of subjects.
We do have most of them, not all. We've narrowed it down, but there are definitely courses in the creative realm and in the programming realm. And then we also do virtual robotics as well in the summer program. In our private online lessons, you can order the robot and we have courses that offer the hardware. So if you're in our private online, you can actually access those courses with the hardware component on it.
And so what is the youngest and the oldest somebody could get involved in Idtech?
As long as, they can be 6, as long as they're turning 7 during that year. So that's the youngest, absolute youngest, but we say 7 to 19. In our program, but our private lessons, we go up to 9.
Okay. Yeah, so if nobody has any questions, we can cut a little early and give a few people some time to take a quick break. If you have anything else, Nancy, you're welcome to wrap it up here.
I just thank you. No, I appreciate it, Leroy. Thank you for what you're doing. I think your passion, knowledge, and to have students try it and not to be afraid to just come in and learn. And the fact that you want to bring mentors into their lives as well. I think it's very critical for students to have that and to be able to relate and have someone to guide them. I heard your when you addressed us this morning, how it was very challenging for you, having to figure it all out on your own. So the fact that you are not just allowing the students to try it, but also having mentors there to encourage them along is very impressive. So I'm excited to see.
We appreciate it, and we appreciate everything with the scholarships and the talk, and especially the judging, and just you guys have definitely been one of our heroes here with this one. So this is our first one, and it's been a little clumsy kind of putting it together, but it's coming along pretty smooth, and we really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much to you guys. All the best with the rest of the event. So it's just the start. I'm sure there'll be many
halfway through day
more
one.
to come.
All right. Well, we'll drop off here, and
Yes.
we'll be back at 2:00 p.m. Central Time. And at that time, we're gonna. I'm not sure if all of them will be available, but we're gonna bring up some of the boot camp instructors. Hopefully, all the boot camp instructors, and we're gonna do a talk about the boot camps. Which, as you know, there's a. If you go look on the reception page, I believe there should be a link there to register for the boot camps. If there's not, I'll have Heather drop one on there shortly. She's been in contact with a bunch of you. And yeah, so we're offering from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time every evening for the next 3 nights. There's a handful of boot camps and covering everything from, introduction to web development. If you've never written a single line of HTML, you can take that one. It's 2 hours a night, tonight, tomorrow, and the next day. And then there's front end development, which gives you a good taste of React. Full stack development, which gives you React and Node. There's one that's focused on back end development, which is building sort of APIs and talking to databases. And then there's even some machine learning and Servicenow, a computer vision, and there's even one that sort of teaches you how to fly and program drones. And so, but there's a handful, and that may not be the exhaustive list. But we're gonna bring some of the boot camp instructors up and let them talk about their boot camps. And so make sure if you want to take one to get registered as soon as possible, because they're filling up pretty quick. So I'll see you here in about 25 minutes.